Welcome to another episode of In My Garage. Nestled in this Perth garage is an old hatchback, but in no way is it ordinary. It's Italian and it's the most successful rally car in history. It's revered as a road car as well, and its owner is Bernard Cecchele. Bernard, thanks for joining us today.
Hi Alex.
Can you please tell us what's in your garage?
Let me show you.
Look at that, what a legendary little thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bit of artwork, I think.
Bernard, can you tell us exactly what we've got here?
This is a 1990 Lancia Integrale HF model. This is probably one of the most campaigned cars while they were racing in the Group A series. And this particular car here, it's hard to find a clean example of a Lancia. A lot of them have just been, abused for so much over the time. So this particular one here has come in from Japan, and I think it first came to Sydney, and then I was the lucky custodian to have owned it for the last 3 years.
Yeah, it looks like it's not been driven hard at all. Do you know much of its history?
Not exactly, not too much of it. Majority of collectors, we like to use the cars, and the best thing about a Lancia is one that has been used but not abused. So looking at the Recaro, leather interior and just the general condition of the car, it's been loved all its life.
It clearly has. This is one of the later ones in the scheme of things, isn't it, being a 1990?
Yes, so this is probably the last of the 16 valves before they went to the Evolution model. Yeah. So after that, they produced the Evolution 1, the Evolution 2, and the last one, which was called the Finale, of course the Italians, Finale. But it was all small increases in power. Yeah. They gave it more girth, the car was wider, and there was improvements to the turbocharging and to other aspects of the car to make it, a more refined Lancia at the end of its end of its road life.
So this particular one, being a 1990 with the 16 valve, the 2-litre and 200 horsepower. Yep. Was this one not one of the more successful of the Delta Integrales?
Correct.
Itself?
Correct. So everyone thinks that the last of the Evolutions were the ones that they campaigned. The majority of the wins were based off the 16 valve, this format here. And I believe the Evolution was only campaigned on its last year, and then it went into privateers.
Yeah. So with putting aside perhaps those Evos and maybe the S4, this would have to be one of the most desirable Delta Integrales.
I personally think so, because I own it. A lot of people love the Evos because there was a little bit more refinement done to them. My taste was more the case of trying to find any Lancia that's in an excellent condition, that's got good service history, the fact that it's got air conditioning.
Now, you told me a great, just earlier this morning, a great anecdote about the reason why it's in your garage. Can you tell us that one again on camera?
Yes. So we own Cecchele Motors. So we're just a boutique little repair shop, and we had upgraded our dyno from a rear-wheel drive to an all-wheel drive chassis dyno, and we hadn't had much experience with all-wheel drive cars, so I went, well, if we're going to do this, we've got to go Italian, and the only car to buy which is four-wheel drive is a Lancia Integrale. When you sit into a Lancia, you can't help just thinking about what it would be back in the 90s or the late 80s, and it just gives you that feeling that you're in something special. Yeah.
So Bernard, can you tell us some of your favourite little details around the car that really signify its identity as a classic modern car?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just kneel down and show you. The first thing I love, you can see the Recaro seats, and there's the little Recaro sign on the bottom there. The steering wheel, the indicator stalks. Now, I don't have a Ferrari F40, but every other review I've seen, everyone states that these very delicate indicator stalks and light switches are from a Ferrari F40. When you're jumping into this car and you turn it on, and you look at the gauges, you suddenly realise that there is a ton of information there, like the battery voltage, which you want to know in an Italian car what your battery voltage is. You get this cool little boost gauge where you know when you're on song. The other way is how the tacho goes from right to left, and the speedo is going from left to right. So you're watching them do this and sort of going, when you're in the middle, it's all good.
So it's really got just the right amount of wear that you'd want in the interior of a car this age, but it does look like it's had a little bit of a life, but nothing too hard.
Absolutely. We did have to replace the interior hood lining. The only thing is that we didn't do our homework at the time, and apparently that's meant to be Alcantara leather, and we just replaced it with a standard, very similar colour. But everything else, like the rest of the interior, is in extremely good condition.
Yeah. Well, can you take us through some of the other details around the car that really make it unique?
Look, definitely the pump guards. When you see the pumped guards, the masculinity of the way how the car looks, the bulge of the front bonnet, it just makes you feel like you're in that, Group A rally car of that time.
Particularly when they add these flares to a car that's relatively small, it makes it look quite athletic, doesn't it? And lean.
100%. Everything that I'm not.
Oh, you're right. Well, can we have a look under the bonnet?
100%.
Yeah, fantastic.
There we go. We didn't have to do too much to this car. Kudos to the previous owner. He had spent in excess of $20,000 in a lot of the mechanicals. Small things that we had to do was just the intake pipe, cooling issues, which is just, the old hoses just corroding. But there wasn't anything that was dramatically needed to be done on this car, which was excellent.
And is it all stock?
Yes. It did come with some aftermarket coilovers which were previously installed, and I believe it does have just a aftermarket exhaust system on it, but everything else is pretty much stock. Okay.
So the ABS block here looks like it's got ABS.
I have to say I've never put the anchors on in such a violent way to test it. I don't really want to. We did have this on the dyno. She is fairly conservative. It's not massive numbers to what you would hear of cars these days, but she punched out around about, I think, just under 145 kilowatts at all four wheels.
That's impressive. That's close to when they were new, isn't it?
Look, I think it's very healthy. I can't remember the actual torque figures that we got out of it, but it was very healthy. It was very healthy.
Now, Bernard, I could not ignore what looks to be a very clean example of an Alfa 2600. Can you tell us the link between this car and the Delta?
Yeah, 100%. When I acquired this car and I was doing some homework about the Alfa 2600, it was designed by Bertone, but the actual designer, which apparently was his first job under Bertone, was Giugietto Giugiaro. Little did I know that Giugietto then actually did the initial designs for the Lancia Integrale. And you could also see where the Lancia looks very similar to the Golf GDI, again designed by Giugietto. I find the Alfa 2600 very special for that particular reason. It's a little hidden gem.
Bernard, to a lot of classic car owners, this would look like a dream garage. Can you tell us a bit about the place we're standing in today?
So this is actually a storage facility. This is Auto House. So myself and my business partner keep our cars here. Let me show you around. So I've got my 1964 Mini Cooper. So this is a 998 engine Cooper. Long time restoration. It's in pretty good condition.
Looks in great nick.
It's a little Jack Russell. I really like it. And then if I can take you down here, we have my 1978 308 GTB Ferrari.
78 being a steel-bodied car?
Yeah, steel-bodied, carburetted. It's a beautiful piece. We've actually lowered it. It has coilovers in it, and we've actually fitted an electronic aircon to it. Everyone loves this car. It's a iconic poster car, 100%. We've also got my Alfa Romeo 1974 tarmac rally car that you can see up the top here.
Okay, so is that a 2-litre GTV?
Yes, we campaigned that probably about 15 years ago in the tarmac rally series. That's a very quick little 2-litre car. And then we have a beautiful example of a Alfa Romeo Giulia that has been restored probably 25 years ago, and it's a fantastic example.
Great looking car. And plus you've got a workshop next door.
Yes, correct. We're very fortunate. We have Cecchele Motors next door. It's just a boutique little repair and tuning shop. And I'm fortunate that we can share our passion with our clients.
So Bernard, where did this passion for Italian cars, Alfas, Lancias, Ferraris, where did all that come from?
Look, I would have to say it stems from my family. My uncle owned Cecchele Motors started off I think in the 60s, and our family has always owned Alfa Romeos, Fiats, Lancias, and I think as a kid I've always adored the cars. My older brother did his apprenticeship at Cecchele Motors, and he now helps us with doing all the historic and all the Weber tuning with Cecchele Motors these days.
So that early indoctrination was a lasting imprint on your...
Look, you know what Alpha stands for? It means always looking for another.
That's right. So can we take it for a drive?
Absolutely. I was waiting for you to ask me.
I've been waiting to ask.
Let's go. That boost kick in.
Plenty of push there, isn't there?
Yeah, it's a little bit of fun, you know.
Pretty fortunate, aren't you, to be in this position on a day like this and in this car.
Well, I'm glad you came and wanted to come and see it. It gave me a good excuse to drive it today. It was brilliant.
And it looks like you've got the classic Italian car driving position there with the
look, I mean,
splayed out. And although your arms are a bit bent.
You just naturally grab it with two hands. I'm 6 foot, and I think the majority of Italian cars were designed for maybe 5'6" drivers.
Yeah.
You and I are too tall for Italian cars.
Right. Well, You think it'll get to the point where there's less of these original cars left?
I don't know enough about the resto mods that are being done, or whether they're doing them to existing chassis that require full restoration. But I would dare say that any car that is like in this condition here, or in very good condition, they'd be remaining the way they are as a collector's item.
So now people are onto that?
Oh, very much so. When you're sitting here and you're just changing through the gears and you see the bonnet, you kind of go, it's pretty cool. It's a race car that's for the road, but it's not a race car, but it makes you feel like you're back in the 90s.
So Bernard, I've got to ask you, are you an RAC member, and have you ever had to use RAC roadside assistance?
So first of all, yes, I'm a member. Secondly, I actually use the RAC roadside assistance a fair bit. My daughter and I were going down to Mandurah. We had passed the BP on the Mitchell Freeway heading south, and I was low, I filled up. The car I was in was a diesel Alfa Romeo Giulietta, which is our Cecchele Motors, one of our loan cars. Fantastic car. Once we filled up, we're not even 2 k's down the freeway, and it's missing, it's making some bad noises. I pulled over, I was a bit concerned, called the RAC because I was on the freeway. They were there within, I was going to say 35, 40 minutes, they were fantastic. Took the car back to the workshop. My workshop manager looks at me and he goes, "You put petrol in it?" I said, "No, I didn't." He goes, "No, you put petrol in it." I pulled out my receipt and I must have just made a mistake, and I actually did fill it up full of petrol. Luckily, we hadn't done any damage. We were able to drain the fuel tank, put diesel back into it, change the diesel filter, and everything was good.
Wasn't that lucky?
100%.
Well, Bernard, thanks so much for showing us this beautiful little Integrale today. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you, mate. It was a good excuse to take the car out. It was brilliant.
Happy to help you with that excuse and look forward to seeing you on the road soon.
Absolutely.